Is this performative or is this real, Pastor John?
This is the real deal. To create a task force to fight against anti-Christian bias and bigotry, with the support of Pam Bondi and Paula White. This is what America needs. Just keep in mind, Merrick Garland labeled parents as domestic terrorists. Why? Because they didn't want books like this to be in the school system, genderqueer. They didn't want books like this, Sparkle Boy, to be in the school system for the children to read. They didn't want books like this, entitled Worm Loves Worm, that talks about same-sex marriage to kids ages 4 through 8. They didn't want that. And so what President Trump is doing is that he's holding true to his promises. He said that we will see a golden age in America. The Bible tells us this, that righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach towards any people. And President Trump is holding true to form. He campaigned on these things and he's doing it. But we must also keep in mind that the icing on the cake is this new faith office. But there's something else that we need to do. We need to rectify what the demonic and diabolical man Lyndon B. Johnson did in 1954 with the Johnson Amendment. He found a creative way to shackle the hands of the Christian church, in particular Christian pastors, to keep them muzzled so they won't speak up and out against policies that the Democrat Party was pushing. We need to repeal the Johnson Amendment, and that will be sprinkles on the cake. But I see today that there's a plan clearly on the left. They're not going to sit back and sit on the sideline and allow President Trump to move forward with this agenda. They're already talking about impeaching him. And who do they hate the most? They don't hate President Trump. They hate the God of this book. They hate the God of the Bible. And when you consider people like Alice Bailey and Margaret Sanger and Madeleine Murray O'Hare, who labored to remove prayer from the public school system and the Bible, these are the kind of individuals that President Trump is still fighting today. America, we have elected number 45 and number 47, and he's holding true to the things that he promised us, and I celebrate that.
What do you hope to see out of the task force? What will you hope to see out of the faith office? Because they're two different things. And what would your potential role be, or other evangelical pastors like yourself, sir?
Well, first and foremost, we want to keep the federal government from telling pastors what they can and can't say. There's this lie that the Constitution includes this line, that there's a separation of church and state, and that's not true. Thomas Jefferson mentioned that in a letter to the Danbury Baptist Association. He talked about a wall of separation, and the plan was to keep the state from infringing upon the church and not vice versa. And so that's where we are today. So first and foremost, we need to repeal the Johnson Amendment. I want to see that take place. I also want to position ourselves where we can get back to allowing the Bible and school-sponsored prayer to be recited in schools all across this country every day. Christianity is the foundation of American civilization and American exceptionalism. America would not be exceptional if it weren't for Judeo-Christian principles. So I want to see school-sponsored prayer in school systems all around this country, and to get back to the 10 commandments. We want to see that take place. Also, we want to make sure that when Christians go to school, they're not demonized, grades K through 12, by their professors and or by their teachers. There was a young girl in Chatham County who really got me into this fight nationally to lead me towards going to 18 states and speaking up for children. There was a young girl in Chatham County who was demonized for her Christian faith. Her teacher told her that believing in Jesus was tantamount to believing in a brick wall. That should never happen. But under the Trump administration and with this new faith office, we're going to see things like that dissipate, and we'll be able to have a school system that builds up our children from the bottom up and reminds them of the great heritage that we have in this country when it comes to Christianity.